daughter, the writer-director of this wonderful movie, Hallie Meyers-Shyer. Who gave this heart-filled, heartbreaking, heart-rendering, like all the girls I know, but anyway, Mila Kunis. That was kind of half of what I prepared to say, so I'm not all worried, so hold on. First of all, it's an honor to talk to Hallie, not in the text. Okay,
sure it is.
I printed my notes in 2 fonts because I can't see. Okay, so I'm gonna have to read this because I can't memorize things. But congratulations to both of you, Hallie. You made an original movie that none of us have seen before. A father, a father with 2 families that never blended. And I think that might be the norm. And you went very deep on that. And I'm so proud of your great writing and directing and fearless filmmaking, and to think so big. She's crying. It's okay. And to think this big when you only have 25 days. And, I got a lot of the phone calls and the texts while she was shooting, and she never gave up on anything. It's funny, it's real, it's honest, and you have made me cry every time I've seen the movie. Congratulations. You gave a hugely heartfelt performance, is what I kind of said incorrectly in my introduction. You were not afraid of those big speeches. I've worked with a lot of actors, and sometimes they'll say, that's like a page and a half. I'll go, I know. That's really great. But you just sort of barrel into these speeches in such a fantastic way. I felt what it was like to be that character because of you. And you did that, making it so real, and I just loved the big heart that you gave this character. I felt so much for her, even at times felt real good right now.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, it was real.
But your daughter's writing is pretty incredible.
Her writing is real, but, our scripts are not great in a desk drawer. We need you, and you gave a really fantastic performance. Congratulations. You ready for a little Q&A?
Yeah.
Okay. I only doing a little Q&A, and then I think we'll just talk about some scenes in the movie, okay? Instead of Q&A to out things. All right, here we go. So, Mila, I would love to know a little bit about the process, like how you, on such a tight schedule, I imagine you didn't have much rehearsal time.
Yeah, no.
And you had big scenes all over the place, and emotional scenes all over the place. So, how did you get there with your character? What kind of prep did you do?
I actually, because I think I come from television, I work really well in short and fast and sweet, you know what I mean? I really love being present in the scene and being open and being spontaneous. I always say, like, as long as you know your character and why they're there, everything else is easy. It's when you don't understand what you're doing and why you're there is when everything becomes overly complicated. And that speaks volumes to the script and understanding where the characters all come from and why they do what they do. And if that makes sense, I actually like being spontaneous. And I like showing up to work and seeing what happens. And Michael Keaton works really well that way. He also just kind of shows up and fumbles through and figures it out and then like magically does some awesome things and you're just there playing along and there's something really great about it. So I actually really like working in the space of, you know, time is short and you gotta get in and
Did
get
you
out.
two go through the script together at any point and talk about the scenes prior to shooting?
I'm trying to think, we did a table read.
We did a table read. We met
Which I love.
sometimes to talk through some questions and some thoughts, and I remember you said something really insightful that maybe when she refers to him as Goodrich in the script, is that when she's a little bit feeling angry at him but not saying it, and I thought that was a really interesting thing to say, and honestly, something subconsciously I hadn't realized, but Mila realized, and it was true. But yeah, you and Michael have very similar processes, I would say, and I think that's also really beneficial sometimes for comedy, because it keeps it very alive in the moment.
Yeah, like I always say, I look at marks as, like marks on the floor as, you know, suggestions. I'm not, sorry, Nancy Myers. I'm not like a dream in that sense of like everything is always the same every single time, but I think that ultimately when you, hopefully in the edit room, I give you lots to play with.
Yeah, oh
So
yeah.
that's how I look at it, but the marks and I,
No.
they're not suggestions.
I've made 4 movies with Diane Keaton. Her purse is in her left hand, her right hand.
Oh yeah.
It's on the plate, it's in her mouth. And you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't, ultimately it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You just get such great stuff from somebody like you or somebody like her. We'll figure it out. We'll put away from work. How? Okay, so everyone says they don't make movies like this anymore. And I guess I'm meaning a movie about people, about family, about who you love. And it's funny and dramatic, and therefore will probably be called a dramedy, which is not a word I really like. But anyway, I think they'll probably end up calling it that. But what's your insight into all of that, this particular endangered species of film, of the ones that make you laugh and make you cry, that we all grew up on, all of our generations grew up on, are disappearing?
Well,
Sorry for the big question.
it's intense. And it's funny because sometimes, you know, people don't know whether to place this in the comedy or drama genre, and I notice that when I'll see, you know, now we're doing all this publicity, and I'll see an article that I'll call it a drama, and I'll be like, it's not a drama. And I'll see an article called a comedy, and I'm like, it's really not a comedy. So like, I can't really figure out where it stands, so I guess it is a proper dramedy, but I also think nowadays we really feel the need to just box something into something, because that's how you sell it, and that's how we know it. But I think movies that I loved, and I've always aspired to make, did kind of do that dance between some scenes were really dramatic and honest, and some scenes were super funny, and I think that for this movie, which we were all really on the same page about, was we just wanted to play it very real, and I think that that is sort of where the tone came from. But yeah, it is very hard to get movies of this genre made, and
Why do you think that is?
well, I think because studios, you know, it's now become sort of like an event, and it's hard, you know, this movie has so many elements of movies I think we've all loved and we feel nostalgic about. A lot of that is now available at home, and it's just a different time. So, I mean, I understand why it's come to that, but I think it is very sad, and I do think that if places like Ketchup continue to release these films in theaters, you know, my hope is that if we build it, they will come.
So you answered this a little bit in your first answer, and we had talked about it from years ago, and I really liked what you had to say, so I wanted everybody to hear what it's like for you when you've made big studio movies, and then you make a movie in 25 days, and what's good about that for you? What did it bring out in you?
oh gosh, I love it. I do. What did it bring out in me? I don't know.
Well, like you were saying, you know, you had gone on to a movie, I think,
Yes.
after this one, and there was a lot of sitting around and
Yeah.
waiting. And
Yes, I don't love, yes, I guess I'll try to condense that answer. I love working, right? Like, I love doing all the things, but I really love being present and being in the moment and feeling the character and feeling the atmosphere and feeling the energy. And when you do movies in 25 days, it's natural and organic to that, because it's always on the move and everything's always changing. You're feeling and you're in it and you're breathing. You don't really have very much time to sit there and scroll, doomsday scroll on TikTok. When you go and do movies that take much longer to shoot, where you get to do 2 pages for 2 days, there's a lot of sitting and waiting. And when you sit and wait, you don't really get to like feel the energy as much, and I think I feed off so much off of other people's energy that I love being in the scene, I love shooting, I like moving, I love that. So for me, it is my sweet spot.
I remember the one day I came to visit, it was the scene when Michael's in his gallery saying goodbye to everybody and thanking them, and you were kind of sitting in the corner, and I thought to myself, oh, she can go back to her trailer, and I thought, or she may not have a trailer.
No, we had trailers. No, I like to sit on set. Like I love making movies. I've been doing this for 32 years. I love making movies. I love it. Like it is, I don't know anything else. I also have other skills, but I genuinely, I love the energy of a set. I think being on set since the age of 9 and having the greatest of experiences in it is my happy place. I truly, and working with you it's just so nice. It's nice to work with people that care. It's nice to work with people that are collaborative.
Some people not care.
Oh, I mean, I have learned recently about some directors that don't direct off of sets. They direct from monitors off of other placements, not on sets. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'll tell you when we're not here.
Okay.
And not in front of these wonderful strangers. But I do. I think it's the industry's just changed. It just really has. And I think when you pour your heart and soul into a project, you care so much more.
I also think there's something about independent film that, people aren't there because it's a payday, and they're not there for any reason other than they really believe in the movie and they really want to be there. And I felt that from all of our crew members and from everyone that made the movie. So that is a really nice thing. I mean, I would like to make a movie in more than 25 days, but
it's nice.
But I did think that, I have been saying that if you have to make a movie in 25 days, casting Mila Kunis and Michael Keaton is a great idea because you guys both, right off the bat, so much energy. You kind of, you just really bring it right up. You didn't need to warm up. You guys are just, so excellent, and it helped us move quickly.
You also came really prepared. Give credit where credit's due. There is directors that kind of come to set, whether it's 25 days or 305 days. They come and they meander around and they don't really know, or they don't have the movie edited in their head, or however the process is. You came, you knew exactly what you needed, you knew exactly what you had when we shot it, and you moved on. There's an element to you also being really confident in what you were doing that helped the process along.
Thank you. Prep is always very important, but especially when you have a short amount of days, it's extra important.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hal, I know you wrote the screenplay 5 years ago?
6 years ago, yeah.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was a real process to get it made. And I also know you were determined, so maybe some people out here are in that position where they have a script.
Yeah.
And it's not happening, but how do you hold on to that determination for 6 years? 5 years.
Well, this was sort of it was the one for me. I really wanted to make this movie, and when I first wrote it...
Do you know people like the people in this movie?
Yeah, it's a personal story. I mean, my father remarried and had a second set of kids, and I had a really complicated relationship towards that, and I think sometimes as writers, our way of processing is through writing things and then kind of understand how you feel about it, and then you also just make it, into movie land, and you kind of think about well, then maybe this could happen, and maybe that could happen, and there's a part of it that's healing, and then it becomes sort of fun, and you interpret your own life through these characters, and sort of casting Michael in my head also helped me keep a distance from it in some way. So 6 years ago, he came on, so I appreciated that he stuck with the project, because that really helped us keep going with it. But, I kind of, when we had our false start with it, which happens all the time in independent filmmaking, I kind of just, any meeting I'd go on with anybody about anything, I'd be like, and I have this other script. And I just kept mentioning it and talking about it. And then one time that worked with Daniela, who I was on a general meeting with. And she was asking me about if I was available to write something. And I said, no, but I have this other thing. And I told her about it, and she really made it happen. So, yeah, I mean, nobody's going to do that for you. You really do it for yourself.
saw that happening.
Yeah.
I got the news. Okay, so when I was writing these questions, I thought, really what I want to know, and maybe you do too, is about some of these great scenes and how you made them, what went into them, and what were the conversations. You guys can talk together about them. The first one that I love is when Michael calls Mila to help him babysit because, and she's putting, what is she putting together on the floor, a playpen or something?
Yes.
Yeah. So tell me about that scene. Were they there off camera for each other's phone calls? Because they're very tuned into each other performance-wise.
No, they weren't. We had shot him, so we had his voice, I think. But then, didn't we have him?
But you didn't have a visual of them?
No.
I didn't have a visual.
I guess you
and-
wouldn't on the phone. So
No, and I don't know, we didn't pipe a voice through the phone. It was the scripty read.
We had him, and it was a technical problem.
Yes.
We were like, I think we should just forgo this, yeah. But I think I showed it to you so you knew his rhythms. And we were like, we watched it so you knew that he was doing
How
that.
spastic was Michael gonna be?
Yeah.
it's a very
Match the
live
level.
scene. I assumed his voice was in the phone or.
Not ever, not once.
No.
No, not in the,
It was a script supervisor.
Yeah.
25
office.
days, there's no person.
Did we have some? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, did you rehearse with him?
No.
Okay. Great actors. Yeah. Okay, the next one I'd like to
It's
talk
rehearsal.
On the next one.
The breath workshop scene, did you like that scene? It was wonderful. So, I loved it, and I saw it almost in dailies, I think you showed me the dailies.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, where'd you get these people? What's that place? How did you find all these super interesting looking people? And so I said to you at the time, I said, so this guy leading it, he really does this? She said, no, Mom. So tell me, and then the way they were dancing, did you have the music, and where did that music come from? That's very hypnotic.
Yeah, that was a scene that, like, you know, when there's certain days on set that you're a little nervous to get to, and the reason I was nervous to get to it was
Me every day.
well, there's just certain ones you flagged. There was 2 in this movie that I was nervous about, and the only reason was because on another movie with a longer schedule, you probably have a couple days in those locations, and you know, every scene matters and is so important. So it's not as if you could say, okay, well then we'll just cut this or whatever. And that is a particularly important moment for those 2 characters. So I was just, and you know, every single day somebody's saying to you, but you know, there's 3 parts to the breath work. Could you cut one? No. I can't cut any of them. Of course not. So we just had to get it done. So it was
On the
nerve-wracking.
day they said that to you?
Just always, can you cut this? Do you really need this? And the answer was always, yes, I do. So I was nervous about getting all the, because it's a bunch of different setups and a lot, and the time, you know, it goes from like late afternoon until nighttime. And so it was, again, I really prepped
Did
it.
you rehearse the dancing?
No.
Have you heard the music?
No.
Have you heard the music?
We had the music on set.
Was it this music?
It was this music. So
Yes.
I rehearsed, I actually didn't want Mila and Michael to rehearse because they were supposed to sort of be out of it a little bit. So we rehearsed the extras.
Yes,
And we
yes.
asked you guys, do you want to learn? And you
And we
guys
said,
both.
yeah, we wanted to just kind of be in
Yeah.
it for the first time, to actually experience it on camera.
Yeah,
And so, I will say, when you see me laughing,
yeah.
it is natural. Because I kept like, oh my God, what is happening? Because the other actors were so good. They were so good, to your point. I was like, are these actors?
Well,
Are we in a breathwork class? What is happening?
I auditioned the extras for this. I needed them to be body moving people. They were all excellent. They were
Get that song.
Okay, so the song, a friend of my husband over here, who's here, his friend runs these breathworks in her house, and I guess I don't have a very big imagination, but I was just like, I called her and I said, can we shoot in your house, because that feels accurate.
Was it in a person who does
Yes.
breathwork? Well, that makes sense.
And then
She wasn't in the scene, was she?
no, she wasn't in the scene, but then our line producer called and said, you know, like, she sort of asked, could we maybe use her music, and I thought, no, I can't use her music, she's on her house. But then he said, could you choose listen to it? So I listened to it, and her music was incredible. And I just heard that song, and I thought that was amazing. And then we played it on set, so we did it to that. You guys were dancing to that song, which is in the movie, and the song is incredible. So I
But that whole thing took one day.
Yeah.
But to your point, it probably would have been 2 in real life. In real life, that should have been a 2-day sequence.
Totally.
Speaking of songs, where'd you get that crazy song that Lola sings?
I can tell you that. So I had written it in the script, and when I had sort of just always thought, like, at a certain point, I'm gonna have to write this song. No, I did. So I had put it. I'm not a person who puts things off. Like, I am not a lazy person. And again, our line producer was like, "Have you written it yet? Have you written it yet?" I'm like, I don't know that I can write this. Like, I didn't have it. So then I thought, I'm just gonna go on YouTube to get some inspiration, and I don't even know what I typed in, and I came across this song. And so I sent it to them, and I was like, this is so much better than I could do. And then the recording artist allowed us to license it, and it worked out, and I was so relieved.
Oh, it was a real song.
It was a real song, beautiful. Yeah, she's an incredible
Amazing
artist.
Amazing artist.
She is. But I was just so relieved that I didn't have to figure that out myself. I didn't know what
Okay, so we have 5 minutes, so I'm going to have to jump to Mila going into labor in front of the
Yes.
medical building.
Yes.
Tell us about that day.
There was a pee-pee gag that got cut out. The water.
Yeah, because it
Didn't work.
It didn't look.
So we even shot stuff, and it didn't even make it in the movie. That's how much ample time we had.
That's the only thing.
That scene was, for me, it was really easy. Like, I loved it. I don't know what to say.
So you weren't dreading that day that I have to get
No, I look at no. I will tell you, I would be dreading it if the words didn't flow. I have a really hard time memorizing and doing things that don't feel natural on paper. And when I read the script, I was like, oh, every word that comes out of her mouth, I didn't even have to memorize. Like, I almost could predict what she was going to say, because the character was so clear to me. That the speech was
so nice.
But that is the true, to me, that's like the truth about the greatest writers, is when you can, in a good way, as a compliment, predict the character's dialogue, when you're not stumbling across every word. And the speech to me felt so natural, the whole thing was building up to this thing, and her blowing up at her dad, and I was like, it was so cathartic. Oh my God, I look at acting as therapy, I love it, okay? But I think we did it in an hour.
Oh yeah, I know for a fact. We only did 3 takes. We only did 3 takes.
Michael also went and had knee surgery the day before, so he was a little bit cattywampus.
It's funny that you feel that way, because I'm a big, I do a million drafts, but of just rewrite, but I only did 1 draft of that scene. I wrote it once, and then it was the only thing in the movie. I mean, it's not like I wrote 1 draft of this movie, but that scene, just kind of through all the iterations, it really stayed the same, because it just kind of poured out of me. So I felt like,
Well, it feels so real. The things that she says to him are so deep and personal and intimate.
It feels like something, I'm fortunate enough my parents are together. I'm shocked, but they are together. But I imagine that is something that a lot of people that come from this situation are so desperate to say, that they never had the ability to say.
That day was, the majority of what's in is all from her first take. She just brought it and blew us all away. It was just one of those days on set where you just looked around and everyone was just in awe. And I remember Jamie, our DP, came up to me and he was like, the first take? I was like, yeah, it was beyond. It was so great. She was just incredible. You can see it in the movie, but yeah, that was one of the most rewarding days I've had as a filmmaker, was watching him do that scene.
Well, I don't blame you, because to see your words said like that, and it's so moving. It's just so moving. And then, of course, I'm with you. She says that. Do we want to take some questions from the audience, or do you guys want to go home? 2 questions. Okay.
Hi, my name is Nick. This is my wife Amanda, and she's 10 weeks pregnant.
Congratulations.
She's got a little strawberry. And this is our first kid. And there's a lot in this movie, I think, that really touched me, but specifically I think about the idea of the ways that life gets in the way a lot of the time. trying to be a caring parent, trying to be a good family member. And, you know, there's a lot of great text on the screen, but just as three people who are in families who care about balancing your life and your work, I just wondered if you had any advice for us going towards having our baby.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, congratulations. Do I have any advice? Nope. There's no such thing as balance, so don't strive for that. Just do the best you can with what you've got. Be nice to each other, be kind to each other, and put each other first, and then put the kid first to the both of you. That's my advice.
That's good advice.
Great advice.
A lot of
I can't
how
really
I
say,
feel.
oh, yeah, okay, sorry. Yes.
I just want to say, after being a fan of yours, Nancy, for decades, you know, bringing real stories with very important themes to the screen, I've kind of missed you. And sitting watching your daughter's work, you could see the beauty and the character up there. And it was really like a homecoming. So I just wanted to say that.
That's so nice.
And then I just wanted to ask you what it's like for you to be following in your mom's footsteps like this.
I mean, I'm really grateful for the education of film that I had growing up. I think it's a really unique experience, especially being the daughter of filmmakers, because it's like a family member to you at that moment when they're making a movie. It is, you know, their blood, sweat, and tears goes into it. So I feel I went into this job understanding what it meant and the weight that you're carrying for other people too, you know, what it means to other people. And so that's really why I'm very happy to have made a movie that's about people, because I grew up seeing people in random cities say to them, that was my life. And, you know, that's such a wonderful thing. I think that the fact that such a great compliment to my parents is people say to them, I watch movies over and over and over again. And I don't think you do that unless that movie provides you with, you know, a lot of comfort. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. So it's been a privilege, and I've inherited a great love of writing and film.
Great.
I have a question for you. I have a question for you about your movie. Was the name of the bridge or something that was in the movie? I only came in after the movie started, so I didn't see it. He's describing a scene.
With Andy McDowell and Michael Keaton?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that one.
That's the Los Angeles River. Silver Lake, yeah. Yeah.
No. The man. Nancy.
Yeah, a bridge in one of her movies.
Bridge and Nancy.
There's a bridge and Something's Gotta Give.
A bridge in one of my movies?
There is a bridge. Yes. Did the movie stop there? Was it made there? Was it actually at the LA River?
Oh, right.
In Goodrich? Yeah, yes, oh
yes,
yeah, we
yes.
shot at the LA River, yes, absolutely. Well, Mila's character in the movie lived in Silver Lake, the house was in Silver Lake, and that's, you know, they were her parents, they were taking a walk in her neighborhood. Yeah, they shot there.
Thank you. Should we take one last question? One last question.
Thank you, I love you, thank you. I love you.
I can't really see, so somebody just stand up.
Concentrating on a fantastic film. Like in every movie, there's always increasing conflict. I think you guys just really beat the hell out of Mr. Michael Keaton and the way he soldiered on all of the different dramatic things. And I'm really glad everything came out for him good in the end. But was that planned in your writing that it would be increasingly more challenges for him to overcome?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that he had to go through all those challenges to come out the other side. Yeah, I mean, he had to go through the journey of this movie in order to sort of, it doesn't tie up in a bow at the end really, but I think he realizes a lot of what he needed in life he already had, and I think Mila's character had sort of come to terms with the fact that this was who this guy was. So, and he was kind of being that guy to the next generation of kids too, so that was kind of okay. But then when she saw him change for them at a young age, that reopened something for her. Because now she saw that it was going to be different for them. So it changed their relationship, which is why, by the end of the film, it's really a father-daughter movie. So that's your question, yeah.
So
Yeah, you go through
so
some
much,
shit.
so much.
Okay, well, thank you so much.